Hi everyone, welcome to part 2 of this little video series from A Million Little Monsters by Lulu Mayo. We shall get this picture done today, so it'll just be a little two-parter, but I thought rather than doing a really long one I would do a couple. So we've got this bit to do. I'm going to do the box first because it looks like it's a little wooden box, and I think that'll be fairly straightforward to start with. So I'm going to start with my raw umber. It's a problem I find with the Castle Art Soft Touch pencils, which is what I'm using today, is that there isn't a very good selection of browns. There's a few reddish browns, but not many normal browns. And so I'm just doing a layer all over it to start with. So I think they're going to run out really quickly. There's also not many, there's a few more greys, but not too many. I'm used to having loads of greys, you know, sets of prismas and polys, they have loads of greys. But this one, they seem to have more pale yellows, but it's the blues and the pinks that are in abundance here. Okay, I want a darker one as well. I'm just having a look at what we've got. I think the Van Dyck brown is the one to go for. I think that's, there it is. Van Dyck brown, and just going to do the edges a little bit where there might be some shadow, and these sorts of in between the lines. Now I know a few of the colours that I'm going to do, so I'm going to do those first, and then that'll help me choose what I'm going to do for the rest. Come in a little bit. There we go, not too far though. We've got a heart shape here, so I'm going to do that in a red. What should we use? Again, we only have a few reds. I think the Venetian red is a rather good one for this because it's very pink. So the Venetian red. And I'm not going to do anything too difficult, just block this one in red. It's quite small, needs to stand out, I think. There we go. Now next to it here we have a cloud, so I'm thinking maybe a grey. I think a sort of Davy's grey might be good, a brownish colour. Clouds can often be quite brown, so that's what I'm going to do, the Davy's grey for our cloud. Again, nothing too special, just blocking it in with a nice layer. You can see, although it's slightly brownish, it doesn't look really brown. It's definitely a grey. Now we have this little critter, which I think looks like a giraffe. I'm thinking yellow and brown might be quite good, or it may be a yellow ochre actually for our brown, because it's quite a brownish yellow. I think it'll be quite good. The yellow ochre, and I'm going to do the spot here. Let's layer it up a bit, and the nose or snout, and these antlers. Although they haven't got a line, I'm just going to do them to the top of the head like that, and then find a yellow, something a little bit lighter. The golden yellow deep I think would be good. For the body. Again, I really am just keeping it quite light. I mean, this could be a cow, but it has got what looks like antlers because those are its ears. So that's why I'm doing it as if it's a giraffe, because they have little horns, don't they? There we go. It's quite a cute colour anyway. Now I think this, at this end, is a ghost. I'm thinking maybe a really light cold grey, but I don't have such a thing. I have a warm grey light, but it's very brownish. I might just have to use it anyway because it's the only light grey that I have. and I'm just going to go really gently and lightly because I don't want it to look white, but I don't want it to look too dark. So it's just like a light layer. Like, I think that'll do nicely. It's the tiniest layer, you may struggle to see. And lastly, we have an antlered critter of some description. I think I'm going to do the antlers in a dark brown. We've got a burnt umber, which is the only other dark brown we have in this set. We use this. But for the creature itself, thinking maybe a sort of reddish brown. I think the burnt sienna might be good. I think that's it. Yeah, there it is. So burnt sienna-y type colour. Just again, just try and colour it all in a light similar layer. Like that. I'm thinking maybe it'd be a little bit darker at the bottom, just under the hands or around that bit there. So I'm just layering it up a teensy bit more, but nothing too much. There we go. Now I'm going to come up here to these critters. Now they've got one eye each. This almost remind me of the minions that have got one eye, but we're not going to colour them like that. I think we might do them blue though. Just thinking about what to do the other critter. Yeah, we might do them blue. I've just realised that there's a tiny bit here that's a bit of scale in there. I'll worry about that in a bit, unless I forget, which I might. I want to use, I'm going to use the cerulean blue light for the fur, and then for their bodies a little bit of a darker shade similar. But I'm going to keep them all the same, I think. Put them the same, make them the same colour. You don't have to. If you feel that you would rather do them all different, then do them all different. You could do them all different shades of blue, or you could do them all completely different colours. I'm just going to keep with one colour because they look the same. Got different shapes on the top of their antennae, but apart from that they look the same. I was just distracted, I stopped colouring then because I was looking at that gap there. Now this guy has got this here and this here. Now I think these sort of horns or ears would go down, so I think this would be green. It's part of the dragon, so we'll colour that in as well when we do that little bit that I missed. I wonder if you noticed yesterday that I missed that. Did you? Put it in the comments if you noticed. I can give you a star or a well done. I'll probably completely forget that I said I'll give you a star though. This is that was the cerulean blue light, so I'm going to go for a darker. We have a middle and a cerulean blue, and they're all really similar. So I think I'm going to go for something significantly darker and grab the ultramarine light. So it looks, I think if there's two, because the three are the same, if we do the bodies really similar, I think it will just look a bit boring. So ultramarine light. And again, I'm just going to do an evenish layer to start with. Although actually that would be the body of this guy, wouldn't it? So I'm going to make that bit quite dark because it's behind. Like that. Keep this one lighter again. I will darken up some bits in a minute, but I just want to get some colour down just so I can gauge what it looks like. Okay, so for this guy, a bit of darker underneath there and around their little hands. So you can just, it helps them stand out and they'd be creating a bit of a shadow. And maybe just the feet a little bit darker, a touch there. There we go, like that. I think that's a bit light, so I'm actually going to put a darker bit around the edge there and then just bring it in a bit more colour. same here, just a little bit, so you can see where I've tried to make some bits a bit darker, just a little bit darker. There we go. Now the eyes, again, I'm thinking I might do something similar to what I did down here and put a little bit of colour around the edge of the black. And I think I'm going to use this ultramarine light to do that. It may not show up that much, but oh no, it's there. If you don't like the eye being this big, oh, my son's laughing so loudly, you could white some of the edge out a bit and then colour over. It's quite difficult colouring over white pen though. If you do decide to do that, I would practice on practice colouring over white first, because I tend to chip it off and then it ends up looking really messy. Right, let's do this little bit of green here before I forget. Now I think we did leaf green middle for them all. Is that right? And then a bit of castle green for the very edge. Doesn't look exactly right, but oh well, it's done now. I'm gonna pretend I didn't make a mistake. Now we've got this one left. We've got little teeth, fangs. Now I'm going to leave those white. I think that's the way to do that. Now it's got whiskers. Now obviously sort of wearing a onesie with a collar and got hands and face. So I'm thinking skin colour and outfit colour. I quite like to do a pink. I'm going to do a cherry pink, which is very dark compared to the other pinks. I'm just trying to find it. For the outfit, for the onesie, as I'm going to call it. So here's the cherry pink. I am actually procrastinating doing the face because I'm not sure whether to do it in a like a pale skin tone, which is, you know, I know how to do that, but it's got whiskers, or they've got whiskers. So what if they're not sort of human, then they might not have that sort of colour, skin tone, you know. So I'm sort of thinking what's going to be most appropriate, and I'm not really sure. So I thought if I do the onesie, then I can look at the colours and think, what's missing? Shall I do, you know, I'm thinking a sort of light purple, like a mauve or a lilac, something, you know, a lavender, a light colour. But I'm not sure yet. So I'm going to keep colouring with my cherry. And I'm not colouring too hard. I'm just trying to give a nice coverage without it being really dark, because actually I quite like the dragon to be the thing that stands out on this page, but I'm not sure whether that will happen. I think this is critter's meant to be the focus attention, I would think, really. Maybe it doesn't matter. We've also got to do that collar. I can do that in a different colour. So there's that to do as well. I'm just checking the time. I can't be late for lunch today. My son streams after lunch on a Monday. So doing that. He's missed a few streams because we've been out and about this weekend. So he's not going to want to miss this one. Right, now I've done that basic layer, I'm going to think about where it might be dark. I'm thinking at the bottom here. And I'm just going to darken down there and then sort of gently colour less up there, like that, and the same down here. So quite a lot here, and then less as we go up there. Thinking maybe it'd be a bit of shadow under these little critters. Just do a dark line there. And under the collar a little bit. Oh, we haven't done in there. There. Under the box. And then at the bottom. Oh, under there. There, like that. And here. I'm also just neatening up a little bit of my messy colouring, so it might look like I'm sort of going in places that maybe you wouldn't expect, but that's just because I want to make it look a bit tidier. But I'm doing the bottom of the arm here and the top. If we bring that in a bit, we can give the arm a bit of shape, because it would be rounded, not flat. Just be some shadow in there. There we go. So I'm going to do the collar in a lighter colour. I'm just tidying up this. It's a bit messy. There we go. So the collar, I want a nice lighter pink. So the cherry is one of our darkest pinks. So I think we can go for the rose pink and do it really lightly. Rose pink. And just put a little bit on. Side of pencil. Oh, I just realised there's football on Thursday this week. I was saying couldn't remember what we were doing. Not only is it the boys' exam results day, which I'd completely forgotten, blanked out of my head. I'm trying to think about skin tone. I'm going to go for mauve. Not a skin tone you would necessarily think of doing, but I think it's gonna work with this sort of cutesy thing going on, and we'll see. Yeah, I think the football's on at lunchtime. England are playing Australia, and I know my friend Kylie in Australia will be supporting Australia. I know my aunt who lives in Australia will be supporting England. I will certainly be supporting England, I'm afraid. Patriotic, indeed. So I don't know what the rest of my Australian family, who they support. My cousins, I think, yeah, both of my cousins who live out, two of my cousins that live out there were born in Australia. Were born in England, sorry. So they might support England. Their children, however, were born in Australia. I'm going over this again because it's really faint and really messy. So they might be supporting Australia. I've got another cousin who lives out there who was born in her sister. I saw her sister the other day. I think she said she was born in Germany, but I don't think she's got any memory of living in Germany. Her father was in the US forces and travelled around the world a lot, as forces families do. And so she was, yeah. So, was she born in England? Oh, I don't remember now. It was only just over a week since I talked to her, you know, my memory. Well, husband is getting worried about his memory. I keep telling him I think it's because he's always doing stuff, he's always busy, and even when he's sitting down doing his art, he's got a video on, he's got, you know, and things like that, and I think it's just he's doing that nose. I think he's just so distracted that he doesn't always take things in. He doesn't give himself time to breathe. I like having a time when your mind is clear so you can think, but he finds he dwells and overthinks things, so he would prefer to not have that time. So when he's in the shower, he's got a film on or the radio, that sort of thing, whereas when I'm in the shower, my brain is going over all the things I need to do that day. I am going to go for, I'm just choosing the colour for the eyes. I am going to choose something really pretty and unusual. I'm going to use the Mauve Deep, so it sort of goes with our skin tone. And just as I have with the others, just a fairly thin layer. There's a lot of white on this little creature's eyes, so we can go a bit thicker maybe, especially on this side, so it shows up because it's so pretty. I just like this colour a lot. Although green tends to be my favourite, this sort of olive greens, this one is rather nice. There we go. Now I think we are done. I'm going to just zoom out so you can see the whole picture and have a little look myself and see if I think it's all done. Now you could put some white highlights on the scales to make them look a bit more shiny, but because we've used fairly light colours, I don't think that will show up. I don't think they bleed into white, but I just don't think it'll show up. And I don't think it's worth it. Yeah, I think I'm done. So there is our little dragon page. I think it's such a cute book. Yeah, so there we are. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have a really super day, and yeah, we'll have something different tomorrow. But yeah, thank you. Please like, subscribe, comment, all those things. Check out my description for all my social media channels. Thank you so much, and happy colouring.